I'm a straight A student with nearly perfect SAT scores.
He probably got like one of them photogenic brains.
You mean photographic memory?
What'd I just say?
I mean, yeah, you said it. Yeah, just reiterating. I play in a punk band with my friends, and I'm a 90s hip-hop geek.
You gonna say something or just stare at me?
A bad day for most geeks would be being the butt of jokes.
Some brother really needs to invent an app like Waze to avoid all these hood traps.
It is time we started expanding our horizons.
We're not going to a drug dealer's birthday party. But when you live in the bottoms...
Well, I'll go if you go.
The bad day could look like this. We were dancing, man.
If I let this slide, we got what they call a slippery slope. You know what a slippery slope is? Do it got anything to do with skiing?
The boy from the head.
Hey, wait.
I am the authority in keeping a proper brother to Horatio. So unless you got some boobies...
What? Like boys don't cry. Remember we were saying that?
Remember that.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
What's going on? What's going on? We are back and we are live and we got a new retro review, and I'm pretty much going to make Sundays retro review Sundays. And we got Dope that came out in 2015, man. This is very much to me an underrated film. What's going on, P? Appreciate you coming through, bro. Shout out to Preston, Young Executive. What's going on, homie? Yeah, man, it's definitely one of my favorite movies, man. I slept on this for a long time. I didn't watch this for a long time. I actually rented this. I can't remember if it was from Family Video or Blockbuster, but I'm thinking it was from Family Video. 2015, I'm thinking Blockbuster was pretty much up out of here. I think she's going to be coming through later on the deal. I mean, my bad, I said the deal, the homie. She's supposed to be still coming through as far as I know. Yeah, she'll probably be here in a few. But yeah, we're going to get started because for one, I have children, so I still have to make sure they getting straight for school or whatever. So I got to go ahead and hop on here and go ahead and get it started and doing what I'm doing. But yes, as far as I know, the deal probably be coming through here. That's what I'm saying, man. This is might be like, I ain't gonna even call it underground, but it might be more of a cult classic. I think a lot of people haven't seen this, and a lot of people probably sleep on this, not knowing actually how much of a decent film this actually is. But this is from the same director of The Wood. We did a retro review early on The Wood a couple weeks or probably a month ago, starring Omar Epps, Richard T. Jones, Taye Diggs, another classic film. But the thing about The Wood and the director of The Wood is he kind of loosely made this somewhat of not really a sequel, but kind of with certain characters in here that you might remember from previous movies. One of those being DeAndre Bond's character, Stacy. He actually makes a cameo in here. And I'm not talking about as far as the actor. I'm talking about the actor and his character as far as Stacy from the movie The Wood. The actual character from The Wood, Stacy, he's actually in his movie playing that same character. And I did not know anything about this. I actually tripped off this. He's playing a security guard in this movie. And what you don't know, if you haven't seen Dope is based around these three young men. We got Malcolm, Diggy. Well, not three young men. I'm sorry. Apologies. Two young men and this one young girl. But she likes girls too. She's basically a dyke or whatever, a tomboy or whatever. But we got these three friends, basically, Malcolm, Diggy, and Jib. And they pretty much are geeks. Growing up in the inner city, in the neighborhood, well, in the pretty much ghetto, you know, the hood, Inglewood. And once again, the whole reference and the connection to the regular, the original movie, The Wood, Inglewood, California. This is based in that same area or whatever. So shout out to the director. And once again, this is kind of an Easter egg that I caught on late, which is this year. I recently caught on to this. So my bad, man. But I really enjoyed that, just hearing that or actually catching on to that as far as the character, DeAndre Bonds, who plays Stacy, actually having a cameo in here playing the same character or playing a security guard in the school, but he's still playing that same character as far as Stacy. But getting into this plot, man, we have these three friends who are pretty much geeks. Some of the biggest geeks in their school. The thing about it is, this is the hood. So, you know the typical thing, man. If you're doing certain things, especially like what do you say, getting good grades, like certain type of music or do certain things, they call it basically white shit. Especially if you black and you live in this certain type of neighborhood or whatever, and you got everybody else doing these certain type of things that people will characterize as being black things. Then if you got people doing these other type of things as far as If they black and they doing things that they don't see typical black people doing, then calling it white shit. That's another thing I really enjoyed about this movie, and kind of that point of calling the stereotypes out, even with the character himself as far as Malcolm. It's kind of like that, the homie. I ain't even gonna call it like a hood movie. I kind of would put it out of that category a little bit, but it's kind of got in that vein of like a hip hop hood, and kind of like it's a little bit more than a hood movie. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't come up with the name right now, but it's definitely more than a hood movie in my opinion, homie. But yeah, man, Dope is definitely a good one. You got to check it out if you haven't seen it. But we got this young man in particular named Malcolm who is trying to get into Harvard. That's one of his goals. That's one of his dreams. That's one of his ambitions. And he's a straight A student. Like I said, geeks of geeks. But the thing about these three friends they are really 90s geeks. They love 90s hip hop, the 90s style, the 90s everything, TV show, all of that. They 90 geeks. In particular, though, they more than anything, 90s hip hop geeks. So another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is the score, the music composed or whatever, as far as the soundtrack to this. Everything, all your favorite hip hop songs throughout, whether it's the New York, whether it's the South, or whether it's the West Coast, Midwest, all throughout this movie, you getting all that good 90s hip hop music. Definitely enjoyed that. But once again, Malcolm, he stayed with a single mother, and the movie it's almost like a little bit of dark comedy, the way they play off the stereotypes, you know, the young black man growing up in the hood with the single black mother, his father left him or whatever, and all of that, but they don't play on it like extra hard. They actually not making fun of it, but kind of, like I said, making kind of not a joke out of it, but just giving you kind of comedic moments of it. It's even a scene in here where you have this individual who gets shot, because it's like this whole thing where you could have a typical bad day for a kid in the suburb is getting bullied or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know that they say nowadays bullying could turn into something worse or whatever. But the thing about this movie is what it's trying to say is a typical bad day living in where these kids live, it could be you just dying. Like you could die. So that's one of the aspects that I really took from this movie. And once again, they're not playing it extra heavy or heavy-handed. It's more so of not taking it as a joke, but coming off of it, like I said, in a dark comedic aspect, if you would say so, if I would say so myself. But one of the things about Malcolm and his friends, of course, the normal things, they are bullied. In particular, Malcolm is bullied by this one particular character who always trying to take his shoes or whatever. And they got a lot they're going to have going on throughout the movie. Once again, having a character like DeAndre Bond's character coming back, Stacy, he has a history. He's an ex-blood or whatever. Now he's doing what he's doing. And when this bully is trying to chase my boy Malcolm for his one Jordan, even though he got one of the other pair of Jordans, he runs into Stacy. And Stacy got to remind him, you know what I'm saying? I went to school with your father. You don't want to step to me like that. I go way back. OG, triple OG. Once again, I never caught that connection as far as DeAndre Bond's character, Stacy, and them bringing them back or whatever. But that is kind of the typical day for Malcolm and his friends and the things they have to go through, being that they are geeks in the inner city as far as Inglewood. Another thing with Malcolm, though, is once again, he's trying to get into Harvard. So he has this paper that he's supposed to be writing. You know, the typical thing when you write doing your SATs and all of this, get prepared to try to get into college or go to college. And the thing about Malcolm is he's pretty much got this thing where he doesn't want to do the typical cliche story of an inner city youth growing up poor, black, and all that, et cetera, et cetera. So he wanted to write about something else, and he ended up writing about Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day, pretty much breaking down the song or whatever and the true meaning of that song and where Ice Cube was coming from and his point of view, especially once again coming from kind of the same environment that Malcolm has came from. And teacher basically telling him, or the guidance counselor, I'm thinking this is, it's like, yeah, man, this ain't going to be it. You need to come up with something a little bit more, not more clever, but more about you and his personal life. Once again, Malcolm is like, I don't want to do that. You know, I got kind of that cliche story, you know, with my upbringing or whatever. But teacher still kind of coming at him, but the way the teacher or the well, I don't keep saying the teacher, but the guidance counselor, in the way he keeps coming at Malcolm is almost like, who do you think you are? Like, you think you're gonna get into Harvard? Like, man, you better be glad that you can get in some community college or maybe something a little bit more close or distance, like Harvard. You know who goes to Harvard? You know who Harvard is for? Harvard is not for your kind. And it's kind of what I feel like he was coming at him, kind of coming at Malcolm, like. And the fact that he's a black man and the way he's coming at Malcolm being a young black man. So, yeah, I didn't kind of like that. Y'all gonna let me know if I'm wrong or he was really trying to just put more emphasis on what the paper Malcolm was trying to write or whatever. That could have been the point of view he was coming from. I don't know. But he just looked like he was trying to basically tell Malcolm that you're not good enough or you're not smart enough to go into Harvard. That's how I kind of see it. Outside of that, though, of course, you got your typical popular girl, and not even real popular, but you know, the most attractive girl in the neighborhood. Once again, you kind of had that play on how they did with the Wood when you know you had Alicia and how my boy Mike was all over her. And it's not the same thing, but you know what I'm saying, that typical thing as far as the more popular girl that everybody try to get with in the hood or in the school or whatever. But Malcolm kind of has that crush, played by my girl Zoe Kravitz, who's playing Nakia, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a crush on her, a major crush on her. Man, be jacking off sometimes. He got a crush on her so bad. He be on his Joe time as far as off you. But yeah, man, the thing about them is a situation happens. On the way home from school, you know, they got their typical things that they have to go through. The thing I really trip off of, because you always have these certain things about the difference between certain hoods and the actual real hood. Just like what they go through, where you got everyday situations where somebody trying to take some shit from you, or you can't go down this certain block because it's certain people or a certain crew or gang that's down that area and you can't go past there. This is those real situations, and that's what they got to go through. But in one situation, in one particular day when they getting home from school, Malcolm actually come across one of the local drug dealers, Don, played by A$AP Rocky. And they just pretty much having a conversation or whatever, you know, Malcolm going into his whole hip hop bag as far as the 90s, and A$AP, well, Don trying to correct him on certain years that certain albums came out, but technically, you know, my boy Malcolm trying to get him right. But the thing about it is Don pretty much invites him to a party, not before trying to get him to go talk to an old girl as far as Nakia. And like I said, the more popular girl in the hood or in the school or whatever that everybody trying to get with. But the thing about it is it's this party that Malcolm and them they're going to. They have they kind of not setbacks, but more of they thought process as far as should we do this. You know what I'm saying? We know what type of guy this is, and we know what type of environment this is going to be if we do go to this party. Give or take, they still end up going or whatever. So, my boy, they get up in here, not before running into one of the bouncers. Not really a bouncer, but kind of the guy that's at the door. And it's a funny ass scene, man, because he ain't trying to let them in because they ain't got no IDs and you know they underage or whatever. But he really just still messing with them or whatever. And they pretty much try to sneak in, and he pretty much still catches them or whatever. Not before Dom and his crew come across him though. He already invited them, and they pretty much end up jumping my man at the door. And Malcolm and his friends, they get in and they start partying with Dom now. And my boy Malcolm, he ends up actually getting him a little dance with Nakia, because that's one of his driving forces for even going to the party, because she kind of is like, if you go, I go, kind of making that play, and he ends up wanting to go, trying to still get with old girl, like I said, his major crush or whatever. But they having a good time, chilling. Ain't nothing too much going on, but an incident ends up happening with Dom in the back. He's pretty much trying to make a drug transaction. Shout out to Tiger making a cameo, and all hell breaks loose. Not only is he getting into this shootout with, I'm guessing, another crew or whatever, but then the police pretty much break in and everything is going haywire and everybody just having a major shootout. And Dom ends up getting arrested. Not before handing off Malcolm's bag to him, though, because, you know, Malcolm had a bag that he brought with him when they came to the party, whatever. Thing about this bag, though, is Dom ended up putting particular drugs and paraphernalia in this bag. Not only that, he ended up putting a gun in the bag too. So you got my boy Malcolm getting to school, going through the metal detector and all that, dog barking, unknowingly to him that he got this stuff in his book bag or whatever. And when he's about to go in his locker, he noticed that yeah, all of this product and stuff and in this book bag, and he runs. Shout out to his friends, man. You gotta have friends like this, because all he do is runs. He don't tell them like, yo, y'all need y'all to come with me or whatever. They just run when they see him running. As far as Diggy and Gibbs, I hope I'm saying their name right. As far as I know, it's Diggy and Gibbs. But yes, man, my boy Malcolm has pretty much came across some product that he got handed to him from my boy Dom. Shout out to Forrest Whitaker too, doing the narration throughout the movie. I forgot to mention him, man, making this whole thing kind of run real smooth and good. It's kind of making me think about what 50 is doing for Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, the way he doing his narration. Even going all the way back to how my boy Goodfellas and the way he was narrating the movie or whatever. Damn, what's my boy name? Ray Liotta. Rest in peace of Ray Liotta. I forgot the name of his character. But yeah, I like that little narration. It didn't take me out of the movie or anything, and it's just the way you do it if you're going to do it throughout a movie or even a series. But yeah, my boy Malcolm, he pretty much trying to figure out what he's going to do with this stuff, and all of a sudden the phone start ringing, and it's pretty much somebody on the other end telling him they want that product, and they know everything. They know his business, they know his address, they know who he is, and this is now him trying to figure out how is this possible, whatever. So he's like, forget it, I'm gonna just get them their stuff. That's what they asked for, that's what they want. Let's go ahead and give it to him, as far as Malcolm and his friends. But on his way to try to hand him this product, Dom ends up calling from jail or whatever, as far as the character played by A$AP Rocky. Dom, you know, is the one who handed him his book bag with the stuff in there, pretty much his stuff. And Dom was pretty much telling Malcolm, like, yeah, you don't need to get him that stuff. I need you to hold on to that stuff and give it to somebody else. Another person named AJ. So the people who ended up calling Malcolm, they don't work for Dom. Dom pretty much in a situation where he said somebody snitched on him or it's the police. So pretty much the people that's trying to come after Malcolm and get this product, I'm thinking is the ones that snitched on Dom or whatever. So now you got them kind of on this little adventure as far as getting away from these two individuals who are trying to get this product. The thing about it is they know every move they are making as far as Malcolm and where they running. Basically, they got this like Apple tag or thing or whatever, because they got an iPhone, and my man who chasing them, as far as him and his partner or whatever, they basically got an iPad that can trace wherever they going or whatever, based, I'm guessing, off the phone. It's kind of funny scenes, man. Shout out to my guy, Jerome, on Snowfall. I'm thinking he a local too, man, because you could tell he kind of got that LA thing going on with him. Anytime you ever seen him in a movie or whatever, and I actually forgot he was in this. He funny in here too. But yeah, man, they pretty much chasing Malcolm them around trying to get this product, and Malcolm actually ends up figuring out that they can trace the phone or whatever, because he's trying to figure out how these niggas knowing everywhere we at when we getting away from them or whatever. So he ends up hiding the phone on the bus, and now they pretty much giving them kind of a chance or some time to get away. So they pretty much head over to the other dude house, AJ, as far as who Dom told Malcolm to take the product to. And this is where I'm saying everything's getting crazy, because your boy pretty much got a schedule to be on as far as Malcolm, because he got an interview. And I forgot what the interview is called, but it's pretty much an interview with him trying to get into college. And it's more of a better chance of him getting into college. Kind of what my boy Esquire was doing on ATL. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I see that little Wi-Fi signal coming up, so I kind of take myself out so it don't look like I'm lagging or freezing. Hopefully y'all hear me clear. Once again, shout out to my codes in the deal. Anybody, shout out to everybody who be asking about wanting to see her come through. I'm pretty sure something happened or something came up, but she'll let me know. But anyway, once we actually get into this and everything that's going on as far as Malcolm, him and his friends Diggy and Gibbs, they actually end up heading over to AJ's house, the person Dom told him to head over to or whatever. And shout out to my boy Quincy coming in playing this role. If y'all don't know Quincy, Puff Daddy, you know, son or whatever, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but he kind of been out here doing his thing. I know he was in Star, the spinoff show from Empire, and he recently been in Raising Kanan, which I actually enjoyed him in. But yeah, they pretty much get the AJ house, but this is not AJ. AJ is actually his father, him and his sister's father. And his name, I'm thinking, is Jaleel, if I'm not mistaken. So they pretty much get in there and just chill or whatever, trying to wait on the guy AJ to get him this product or whatever. And my guy Jaleel pretty much trying to tell Malcolm them, like, he do music or whatever, he produce or whatever. And that's another thing I forgot to actually mention about Malcolm them, besides them being geeks, is they actually got a whole little band or whatever that they put together. They form kind of this punk rock band or whatever. And that kind of comes into play when they get over to AJ house, because he pretty much like, let's go do some music or whatever while we spare time to wait on his pops or whatever. In the midst of them doing this, though, a couple of them get hungry. But my boy Malcolm, he pretty much got his eyes on Jalil's sister. I keep saying AJ, but it's not AJ. I mean Jalil. AJ is their father, whatever. But yeah, she pretty much kind of like loose out here. She walking around half clothed. She pretty much answered the door, no clothes on. She's sitting in the pool, basically naked. And my boy Malcolm, he already been on 10. Once again, young, hormones going through the roof. So he like, yeah, y'all go get something to eat as far as his friends and the boy Jalil. And he gonna stay behind, see if he can make something happen with old girl. But everything don't go according to plan, because she almost pretty much got home a little scheme up her sleeve. And she's pretty much trying to find out what's in this book bag, which she pretty much already know, because she pretty much knows what's going on with her father. And we're going to get more into that later on. So she pretty much is trying to leave my guy on so she can get to what's in that bag, which she ends up doing. And she pretty much starts to just go off. And I'm thinking this was cocaine, but it's actually Molly. I don't know. I thought they had cocaine, but they had Molly, which I'm thinking we end up finding out once he gets to this interview or whatever. But yeah, my girl is in here taking the product that he had in his book bag. Now she just all over the place, gone, high as hell. And now he ends up getting a phone call from the person he has to go in do an interview with, basically for him and his chances of going to college, basically the place of Harvard that he's trying to get into. So now he got all this going on, and he's trying to make his way out so he can make it to this interview on time. And my girl is like, I'll take you. Why? She's pretty much intoxicated, pretty much under the influence very badly. But my boy is like, I'll take this chance because I got to get to this interview on time. He ends up letting old girl take him while she's fully gone. And she's driving all over the place crazy. I don't know how she didn't get pulled over. But they get to a stop sign, and she pretty much passes out. And my boy's trying to wake her up, and she just started flipping, jumping out the car, and just start pissing in broad daylight in front of everybody. And my boy Malcolm is just like, forget it. He jumps in the driver's seat, and he gone trying to make it to this interview. And on his way, though, he ends up seeing Jalil, the guy, as far as who his friend's supposed to be with, going to get something to eat. But he see him running away from the cops. So we basically got a whole nother scene going on with them going to the restaurant. And this is where we pretty much got them getting held up by the dude that's been chasing Malcolm them around for the product that Dom pretty much told them not to give to them. So they pretty much done found them. Well, they don't found the friends, so Malcolm still got the product on him at old Buddy house. But my boy Jalil, he packing. He got a damn gun on him. And he pretty much pulled that shit out on old Buddy now. But they end up punching his ass, and he shoot himself for some Cheddar Bob shit. And then out of nowhere, some damn Latinos in the restaurant start shooting. Once again, this is California and this Inglewood, so it's a lot of stuff still going on as far as gang activity. So they pretty much get into this big ass shootout in the burger joint, and everybody pretty much scattered and trying to run away. Old Buddy that was chasing Malcolm them got arrested, and Diggy Friends and them, after grabbing their food, pretty much get left by Jalil because he shot in the leg and he just drive off. So this pretty much just go all the way back, all this chaos going on in the midst of my boy Malcolm still trying to get to this interview on time so he can get into college. And this is where we get like a little, well, not a little, an actual bit twist. Because once again, Malcolm has been trying to get this product to this guy named AJ that Dom told him to take it to. So in the midst of him doing this and get to this interview, the actual person that's interviewing him just so happens to be the parents of the two kids house he was just at, where he was bringing a product to. So long story short, this is the guy he's supposed to be bringing a product to. AJ, Austin Jacoby. Shout out to the guy playing him. He's been in a bunch of Spike Lee movies, and he's been in all type of movies. He's one of those cult classic actors, kind of like Clifton Powell, you know, Pinky. But he done been in a lot of movies, man. But yes, Austin Jacoby, a.k.a. AJ. He is the guy that Malcolm is supposed to be bringing this product to. So now we get pretty much kind of this little lecture from him. Because he's pretty much asking Malcolm, like, why did you decide to bring this product to me? Why did you decide to even do these things that Dom asked you to do? Instead of kind of giving the product, you could, because he could have still gave the product to old Buddy now. Whether we killed him or not, that was still a question. But he could have somewhat, I guess, been out of this situation if he would have went ahead and just gave the product to old buddy them that had been chasing him instead of listening to Dom. And I kind of feel like that's what Austin Jacoby, aka AJ, is pretty much trying to ask him, like, why did you go along with all of this? Why did you decide to do what Dom asked you to do, pretty much? And that's where Malcolm comes in, just pretty much letting him know why he did what he did. And this is where AJ is pretty much going into this whole hypothetically speaking type of thing, saying, yeah, you're going to move this product for me now. That's what you're going to do, because I think Malcolm actually lost some of it. Or it happened when old girl actually ended up taking some of it. Once again, apologies if it looked like I'm lagging anything, because I see my little Wi-Fi signal coming up. But yeah, so now Malcolm is pretty much in a situation where you got this guy who's supposed to be interviewing him to go to college, now threatening him and his family and his friends if he don't do what he tell him to do as far as move this product and bring him back the money for the product, what's going to happen. So it's pretty much less than worrying about if he going to go to college or not. Now it's a situation where not only is his life in danger, but his loved ones is in danger now because of the situation he don't put himself in as far as what he was trying to do for Dom. So he pretty much gets his friends together and they try to come up with this little scheme that they're going to try to pull off on the internet to move the product, and kind of like on some Bitcoin type of situation. And this is where Malcolm pretty much starts to come up with this guy he feels like it can help him, named Will, who's pretty much the drug guy. He knows everything that can know about any type of drug. And he's actually in college, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to use him pretty much to help them do what they're trying to do as far as get this product moved and get this done so he can get out of this situation with this guy, AJ, aka Austin Jacoby. So they pretty much put this plan into play. And they started off by going to this party Will has put together. So they can pretty much try to put like somewhat of a testers out or whatever, trying to get the name out there or whatever, so then people could come back to them. And once again, they're doing this all in a situation where they won't be caught or whatever, or they ain't got to do like face-to-face things, or they ain't got to be on no block or anything because they're doing it online. And what they end up doing, and this is coming from the idea of Malcolm, is going to the dark web where you can do, certain illegal activities or whatever, like he said, whether it's drugs or whether it's weapons, all that type of stuff. And that's how they're able to come up with this little situation or this plan to do what they're doing with the help of Will. What's going on, Brillo? Shout out to Brillo, the Big Review. Definitely make sure y'all go check him out. He got some new episodes of Not Another Born Live and The Plug. Definitely go check him out. Brillo, I know you done checked out that BMF Season 2 trailer. Let me know how you feeling about it. Oh, yeah, we on that retro. Dope. Let me know you done check this out, bro. This came out 2015. Definitely, y'all go over there and check out Brillo, the Big Review TV commission. But yes, man, Malcolm and them pretty much get into this, and they got a situation going now. So now all they trying to do is wait to hear back to see how this go and see how this flow, to see if this is going to work without them getting into any type of trouble or Malcolm pretty much not ending up dead. So everything looked like it is working. Stuff starts to hit and it actually starts to boom. And his plan is going into motion and it actually is working, because not only is the fact that they actually are capable of doing this, it's the fact that people aren't going to be paying no mind to them doing stuff like this because they geeks. I mean, who would think these three individuals out of everybody would be doing any illegal activities, especially what they are doing? So that's another, basically their cover, that they are the geeks that nobody would be thinking of getting into any type of trouble. And based on my man, the security guard, Stacy, whenever they go to the metal detector, because he got this little dog now, and dog, they barking and they smell this stuff that Malcolm has in his book bag, because they pretty much got to put everything together at school. Once again, they are the type of students where you're not paying them any mind. They're not going to be doing anything illegal, especially not what they're doing as far as us as an audience and we see them doing. But yes, they got this situation going and it's pretty much working. And they got a plan going into motion. The only issue is a situation comes up at school where, once again, they're keeping everything at school. So you pretty much got this search that happens. So Malcolm got to pretty much get this shit out of there before they get caught. So now it's getting to the point of his friends kind of like, yo, man, this is getting too drastic now. We might need to get something done because we still want to go to college. We don't want to go to jail. So now it's a situation where Malcolm got to turn the Bitcoin into actual money, physical money, whatever. And that's where he goes back to Will, trying to see what he can do to get this actually turned into money so he can give it to the guy at Austin Jacoby or whatever. And that's where my boy Will pretty much sends him on his mission, where he can try to get this money. Apologies. Because this ain't going to be an easy situation because everything's been done online. So that's been the easier route. So now him trying to actually get the physical money is going to be a whole different task and a whole different situation. But that's what he ends up having to do. So when he ends up getting into the situation, Will sends him to this guy. And this is another funny scene, though, because the guy pretty much testing Malcolm and his friends out as far as before he giving this money, but it's just a test and the task that he is putting them up to. That's the funny thing about it. But they end up getting through with it. And the man actually ends up paying them in actual physical money. And I think not all of it and some of it still is in Bitcoin or whatever, but he'll still be able to do it this same way if he needs to or whatever. But in the midst of them actually doing this and actually getting this physical money, my boy ends up getting jumped as far as him and his friends on their way out by the same bullies who've been bullying them at school. Quote unquote, they actually a gang, Bloods, if I'm not mistaken. But my boy Malcolm, he done had enough. He done been through way too much. He already had to deal with the shit with old girl pretty much getting high on him, taking a product or whatever. Him in this whole situation where he getting in the shootout, the whole situation with Dom and him in the party or whatever, and the fact that he got these drugs in his bag or whatever, and a situation with him trying to go to school and him dealing with this whole counselor or guidance person or whatever that's trying to make him sell a product to him for him to go to college. He done had enough. And the fact that he done had to go through to get this money, enough is enough. And he ends up pulling out this gun when they get jumped on the same bully who pretty much been messing with him in school, taking his shoes or whatever. And shout out to the guy, bully, played by Lakeith Stanfield. Once again, earlier days of Lakeith Stanfield. Shout out to Atlanta. You just see the look in his face, man. Once again, a very, very tense scene because throughout majority of this movie, it's kind of somewhat been a comedy. Even with them being in a kind of serious situation, it still ain't really been a situation where it's like a life or death situation. Even with his friends getting in the shootout or whatever, it kind of seemed like they gonna be straight or whatever. But when it came to this situation, it's just like everything was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like we've been laughing kind of all the way up until this point, and now shit done got real. Once again, you just see that tense look in Malcolm's face because like, dude, I want to go to school. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to go to college. That's it. And y'all getting in my way. And you not going to get in my way this time. I done been through too much. I done too much. And it's a really good scene, man. And my boy and him like, yeah, we good. Because we can see you kind of serious. Because he tells like, please, leave. Like, put that bag down. Just go. As far as Malcolm. But yeah, man. The crew, as far as jumping them, end up leaving them alone and letting them take their money and going about their business. And this is where we kind of get my boy Malcolm and the image I got at the top. They played this image earlier, but I wanted to say this image for this moment because this was a point where Malcolm kind of is at that point of like, what the hell am I going to do, man? With everything that's going on, all this chaos, and the fact that he had just ran into the situation with the AJ dude where he found out who he really is, and the fact that he got to go do all this. It was a really good scene because it's all the people and all the encounters he done had to deal with today, including that his mom is actually the one driving the bus or whatever. So yeah, man, back to this scene though. We get to the end and my boy Malcolm got the money for Mr. Austin Jacoby, aka AJ. But that ain't all. My boy Malcolm came up with a plan, and it's pretty much setting AJ in a place where it's like, yeah, I did this whole Bitcoin thing, and technically I didn't do it. You did it. And this is Malcolm talking to AJ because he pretty much set up a whole thing where it's pretty much this guy name pretty much going through everything that's going on, especially the way Will set up everything because Will, like I said, drug on drugs, and he's pretty much high intoxicated all the time, and him setting up these accounts ain't a trustworthy guy. Malcolm being who he is and as smart as he is, was able to set up this type of manipulation for AJ, where if he tried to do anything or try to do any more blackmailing, his name gonna come up in this situation where he's going to be going to jail. So Malcolm pretty much puts a play into motion where he tells AJ, not only are you going to make sure you do everything in your power to get, make sure that I got a possible chance of going to Harvard, but you're going to make sure nothing happens to me or my friends or my family. Because once again, earlier he was threatening him, telling him like, you're going to move this product, you don't want something to happen to you or your family. You know what type of neighborhood you live in, right? So my boy Malcolm pretty much sets him in play and pretty much puts him in his place as far as Austin Jacoby, aka AJ. And Malcolm pretty much lets him know, like, you ain't as smart as you think you are. I'm the smart one. And with everything he sets up, this is now Malcolm being able to go on his own and move forward. And hopefully he getting into college or whatever, in the place he wants to go as far as Harvard. That ain't it, though. My boy Malcolm pretty much goes back to getting his paper rope. Once again, earlier in this review, when I got into some of the earlier scenes of the movie, I talked about Malcolm, and he was talking about this paper where he didn't want to write about your typical story of his upbringing as far as the ghetto kid or the ghetto youth coming up in the inner city or whatever, not having a father and a single mother and all of that cliche story. And he wanted to write the paper on Ice Cube movie. So he ends up writing a different paper. And it's kind of him formulating this whole thing with, why would you ask a black kid why he want to go to Harvard? And his whole thing is, would you ask a white kid the same question? Good play, man. And I'm thinking, I forgot, rest in peace too, to God damn it, man, I can't come up with the name, man. Apologies, but I know the whole situation that would happen with the young man that he got shot with the hoodie and that was getting the IC or whatever. And I'm thinking this movie definitely must have came out, whether it was around that time or after that time, because even with that, I don't think the first time I watched it, I paid too much attention to Malcolm and him with the hoodie on or whatever, and him walking down the street and him doing the narration for majority of the end of this movie, and him pretty much explaining everything as far as, the young black men or young black boys coming up in the city or whatever, or coming up in the neighborhoods, especially even young, smart black men that don't play sports or whatever, that actually like or enjoy the stuff that him and his friends enjoy. And this whole movie throughout, once again, it's kind of a comedy, whatever. And once you get to those certain tense moments, but it's a lesson throughout, especially when we get to this moment. Once again, I was talking about that guidance counselor that was talking to Malcolm as far as early on, when he was like, why do you feel like you can go to Harvard? Who do you think you are? Kind of putting him down like, you black. You're a black kid. You can't go to Harvard. You ain't got no chance. Not even just that, the fact that he a black kid, but it's like, look where you from, or look where you at right now. You think you can make it to Harvard? So it's definitely a play on a lot of that, especially when you in a certain situation, you in a certain environment, or your upbringing, you ain't got both parents in the household. Why do you think you can be able to make it? Or why do you think you're going to be able to get to a certain position in life or whatever because of what you done been through? And that's a lot of what Malcolm does throughout this movie, especially at the end. Not only that, man, it's to see the celebration of him and his friends, whatever. He done cut the fade off. And he actually taking a chance with him and old girl as far as Nakia, played by Zoe Kravitz. And basically one of the last scenes is him seeing the letter, I guess, seeing if he got accepted or not into Harvard. And you can pretty much see the expression on his face that he got accepted. Besides that, though, man, once again, this was a good movie. This is definitely kind of a differentiation from what the director of The Wood he did with The Wood, because once again, The Wood is, to me, pure comedy. Wow, it ain't really got no drama moments, no real tense moments, other than the lesson as far as making sure you stay loyal to your friends, marriage, conduct, I guess, or whatever. It ain't really got no really life lessons in it the same way this one does as far as dope. So besides that, it's a very dope movie. No pun intended. But anyway, man, y'all let me know if you haven't seen Dope. Do you plan on checking it out now after my review or whatever? Let me know. Like I said, this is a very, very underrated movie. I feel like a lot of people probably haven't seen it. It's not a very big movie at that. Shout out to K-Dot. What's going on, K-Dot? Appreciate you coming through, bro. Yeah, see, every time I see somebody come through in the comments, bro, everybody saying, yo, I ain't seen Dope. It was one of those movies that really didn't get a lot of promotion either. It didn't get a lot of push, and a lot of people I think didn't see it like that. But it's a good movie. I'm telling you, bro, you should definitely check it out. Shout out to y'all too, man. I just checked out Chillmonger's video, the recast T'Challa video, and I seen he threw a lot of clips in there from different YouTubers talking about the whole point of recasting T'Challa, and y'all made a lot of good points. A lot of things I actually didn't think about, bro. So yeah, shout out to Chillmonger. Y'all should check out Chillmonger's YouTube channel too. He got a lot of good content over there, especially when it pertains to Black Panther and recast T'Challa, the whole recast T'Challa movement. Outside of that, though, definitely let me know if y'all plan on checking out Dope. This is a very good movie, man. It talks a lot about a lot of the cliches as far as like the hood movies that you have seen early on. It dives a lot into those cliches, and it makes fun of a lot of those cliches too. Not really making a joke out of them, but just kind of messing with them a little bit, kind of making a twist on them, stuff that you haven't really seen in certain movies or whatever, do this or go this route. But other than that, let me know how y'all feel about Dope, and if you haven't seen it, let me know if you plan on checking it out. Shout out to my cousin Dia. She didn't get to make it tonight. I'm pretty sure she has some things going on, but we'll be back. Let me see what I got coming up next. Tomorrow, I'm trying to do another retro movie review. I'll let y'all know tomorrow. Other than that, though, Uncut Ish Talk, once again, this Friday. Real Ish Real Talk, I'm trying to do that possibly Wednesday or Thursday. I'll let y'all know. Retro reviews, going to be Christmas movies. I'm going to try to do Friday after next. I got Home Alone I'm going to try to do. Before I do all of that, though, Four Brothers is going to be this Sunday. We're doing Four Brothers as far as Retro Review Sunday. That's what we're doing this Sunday. I got a couple clips I'm going to throw up, too, out of Uncut. I got one I want to do with the Power Ranger verses, and I want to do the Fear trailer clip I'm going to throw up. So other than content, I'm going to let y'all know what we got coming up. Yeah, let me see. Shout outs once again to K-Dot. Make sure y'all check out his YouTube channel. Perk Minded, make sure y'all go check him out. He got a lot of good horror content over there. He been doing Let the Right One In. That's coming on Showtime. It's good content. I haven't seen the show yet. That's one of the reasons I ain't watched the review, because I don't want to be spoiled. Pretty Girl Love Strap content. Make sure y'all go check out her YouTube channel, the JH Review. I already said Chillmonger. Y'all go check him out. Back of the Bus podcast. I haven't had a chance to check them out in a minute. Y'all definitely need to go check them out. Who else? Spoiler Kings. Make sure y'all check out Spoiler Kings. They got some good content over there. They did a recent Andor review as far as Star Wars. They got a couple lives as far as trailer reactions. Make sure y'all go check them out. Other than that, man, make sure you check out all of us, man. Hope I didn't miss nobody. If I did, I try to shout out as much people as I can. Other than that, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Let you know when I upload new videos. Make sure you follow us on Twitch, the Low Key Cave. I'm trying to get back to working on video game content, but right now I got a lot of stuff going on. So soon, though, very soon, I'll still throw in a little bit of 2K23 here and there. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, we out.